Good afternoon. Thank you for creating time for us. You are in time for the latest updates. This is the Lunchtime News. A very warm welcome to the broadcast. My name is Irene Muchuma. On sign language interpretation is Byron Abule. Let's interact on all our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1. We have news making headlines not only locally but also across the borders. Now we begin with health concerns. The Ministry of Health has committed to recruiting more health caregivers to address the current shortage of health workers in the country. Speaking at Mama Lucy Kibaki Hospital, Health Cabinet Secretary Susan Nakhumicha said following fruitful deliberations with all stakeholders, among them the Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union, the government found it necessary to employ the health workers to bring to an end their recurrent strikes.
Speaking during the official commissioning of a new ICU unit and a satellite blood bank center at Mama Lucy Hospital in Nairobi, the Health Cabinet Secretary said that it is high time to address challenges facing health caregivers once and for all. The challenges range from poor working conditions, poor remuneration, and human resource related issues.
Maneno ya madaktari, maneno ya nurses, maneno ya clinical officer, tumediscuss maneno ya nutritionist, biomedical engineers, all cadres.
Nakhumicha, however, warned caregivers who are set to be recruited and the current health caregivers who fail to deliver their roles and responsibilities as mandated.
If you want good working conditions, even you when you are put in a place, please put in honest effort.
The Council of Governors Health Chairperson Muthomi Njuki reiterated the importance of addressing the challenges faced by all health caregivers while sending a stern warning against rogue doctors and pharmacists.
And we are going to ensure that they get their correct share. Unaenda kwa marikiti hapa, unapata kuna mtu anaoperate ka chemist, lakini ukiuliza yeye barua ya chemist anakuambia I was cleared by the council.
Sentiments echoed by Nairobi County Governor Johnson Sakaja, who underscored the need to digitize health records to reduce cases of drug and equipment theft in all hospitals.
With the health information management system, tunajua dawa ikipeanwa hiyo operamazole mmesema ama Panadol ikitoka hivi, system inajua imetoka, order imepigwa, inarudishwa, inakuwa stored, so that we can keep having frequent supplies.
Frederick Parsayo, Lunchtime News.
Still on health concerns, my colleague Ruth Wamboi is in Westlands. This as the NHIF board is having a press briefing. Let's cross over and listen into what Ruth has for us. Ruth, good afternoon.
Thank you so much, Irene Muchuma Odim. We are here at the banquet center in Westland, whereby there is an annual convention of Rural Private Hospital Association of Kenya, which is having a partnership or a collaboration with the National Social Hospital Insurance Fund, which just rebranded. So today they are having a 2-day convention which is starting today. It's going on until tomorrow, and there are some of the things that they have been able to agree between the rural RUFA and National Hospital Insurance Fund, and just to have details of what has been transferring between this RUFA, which comprises of private hospitals that are normally at the grassroots levels. I have Brian Lishenga, who is the chair of RUFA. Welcome, Mr. Brian.
Thank you so much.
Kindly tell us what some of the deliberations that you have come up with NHIF, because the chair of NHIF and the CEO have just left. They have been here.
Well, thank you so much. This is our fourth national conference here in Westlands, Nairobi. We have brought together about 150 healthcare providers who provide healthcare in the rural areas of Kenya. representing about 43 of the 47 counties. We also have a lot of stakeholders, as you can see, from the industry. We've finished just our morning session where we were with the NHIF and some representative from the ministry. We were discussing about how to improve access for the rural communities. And one of the things we have agreed is, number one, we are going to get into a new system where somebody who is being treated, say, in Naivasha at one of the rural hospitals with an NHIF card, very soon we want to see a situation where if they travel, let's say, to Mombasa, they don't lose all their records. They can go to Mombasa and we can use technology to make sure that those records which were available at Naivasha are also available for that patient in Mombasa. But more than that, NHIF is also committing to make sure that when the patient goes, they will not be told that this is not your hospital. That hospital will also be able to offer them service. So we are looking at how do we work with technology and we work with NHIF to make sure that patient information is portable no matter where you are. Whether you are in Kisii, when you travel from Kisii and you go to Kisumu, that information can be available. If you are in Kakamega and you travel to Kitale, the same thing. So that is one of the things we have agreed. The second thing we have discussed is we know that in Kenya we have a shortage of specialists. Especially in rural areas, you find some specialists are not there. But you might have those specialists in the bigger towns, like in Nairobi, in Mombasa, in Nakuru, in Kisumu. So we've discussed with NHIF in future and in the very near future, we want to see telemedicine being compensated from NHIF. And we are very happy that the government, which is in place, has embraced this idea of technology in healthcare. So we are optimistic that one of the policies that is going to come with universal healthcare is that we will use technology, things like the internet, to reduce this shortage of specialists, and that NHIF will be able to pay when you have a telemedicine consultation, which is something that is not happening now. The third thing that we have agreed today is that this universal healthcare is now going to be available even in private hospitals that are serving the bottom of the pyramid. So if you have these private hospitals like the ones which are here, which provide care to really, rural Kenya among poor communities, we want these private hospitals to be part of UHC, so that if you are a Kenyan, you can go to a public hospital to seek care. But if your preferred provider is a private hospital, UHC will also be available in those private hospitals. So those are some of the agreements that this conference today here in Nairobi, together with the NHIF and the ministry, we have been able to agree in terms of way forward.
Thank you so much. I will release you. Go and
thank you. All right.
As you have heard, Muchuma, those are just some of the deliberations that are ongoing at this convention, just to ensure that universal healthcare coverage is achieved all over, and that the common mwananchi Wanjiku is able to afford good services wherever they are in this country. I take you back to studio.
Thank you, Ruth Wamboi. Ruth Wamboi reporting live from Westlands in the county of Nairobi, from the National Hospital Insurance Fund Hospital, where the team also intends to rebrand its facility. Now, across the counties, a family in Mombasa has called for speedy investigations into the death of Constable Julius Marwa, a traffic police officer killed by a motorist in Mombasa last week. Also, 2 people were arrested during the Kenya Forest Service recruitment exercise in Bungoma County after allegedly being found trying to offer a bribe to a recruiting officer.
During a requiem mass held at Jocham Hospital morgue, the family of Constable Julius Marwa called for justice for their kin, who was allegedly run over and killed by a motorist at Buxton in Mombasa.
Nikiwa peke yangu sitaweza, lakini ninaamini ya kwamba serikali ikiingilia pamoja na human rights, kesi itafaulu na mzee ataweza kupata haki yake.
49-year-old Marwa will be laid to rest on Friday at his home in Nyambeho village in Kuria East sub-county, as Muslims for Human Rights Group said it will follow the case until its logical end.
Kwa hivyo mtu yoyote ambaye anajaribu kuinterfere na hii kesi, tunakuangalia na tuko pale na tutapaza sauti na tumia njia zote za kisheria ku make sure haki imetendeka.
And a section of Lari, Kiambu County has championed the establishment of a municipality that will see the area get a facelift. Led by Area Member of Parliament Mburu Kahangara, they reiterated that the creation of the municipalities will spur development in rural areas within the devolved units.
When you're a municipal, you receive funding and grants. Donors come in and support the activities of a municipal.
Zile fedha ambazo zinatoka katika national government na pia ambazo county government huwa zinaokota kutoka kwa wananchi zilikuwa hazitoshi kwa zile kazi ambazo zinafaa kufanywa. Kwa hivyo ndio maana tunatafuta grants, tunatafuta pesa kwingine ndio tuweze kufanya kazi.
In Kirinyaga, 4 owners of residential buildings discharging sewage into the Dhiba and Nyamindi rivers have been arrested. The 4 nabbed by a multi-agency team drawn from the county government, National Environment Management Authority and the Ministry of Interior National Coordination will be arraigned in court and charged with violating the Public Health Act.
Let us be cautious on what you are doing. When you have a business, have a place whereby you can have the waste materials so that you don't channel it into the river.
We have embarked on cleaning our rivers. That is from the river Dhiva, Nyamindi, and all other particular rivers that are within Kirinyaga County.
And panic surrounded the Kenya Forest Service recruitment exercise at Bungoma Airstrip after 2 people were arrested for allegedly trying to offer a bribe to a recruiting officer. The Employment and Labor Relations Court in Nakuru has vacated orders restraining the Nyandarua County Assembly from vetting new chief officers who had been nominated by Nyandarua Governor Dr. Kiaria Badilisha. The court overturned the orders paving way for vetting of the remaining officers and their approval, and subsequently took the oath of office late Tuesday evening.
Na mimi nimewaomba kwa niaba yenu, tukija pale tuwe na upungufu hapa na pale, isiwe ni kama kuonekana ni madharau, lakini tufunzane. Mahali hatujui watufunze, mahali pia waelewi tunawafunza, kwa sababu hakuna serikali Nyandarua bila executive na bila assembly.
All right, Kenya joined the world in marking International Women's Day with celebrations held across the country in tandem with this year's theme of digital innovation and technology for gender equality. The day was marked with pomp from learners in schools to women in the world of business, those at the grassroots, not forgetting those who have shattered the glass ceiling to venture into what was traditionally considered a man's domain. Take a look.
Data from the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, KNBS, says women in Kenya are less likely than men to be employed in the formal sector, with only 1/3 of Kenyans in the formal sector being women. Women are also more likely to work in low-paying informal jobs. And as the country celebrates International Women's Day, it was a time to reflect on the success so far and the challenges ahead. It was the mood in Kaga Girls High School, a time to celebrate the milestones. Songs and dance marked the visit by alumni of Kaga Girls High School in Meru, classes of 1980 to the year 2006, paying tribute by appreciating their former school principal for nurturing them and making them better and responsible people in society, something to pass on to the current generation.
Our children today are in touch in all social medias, WhatsApp, through the internet. So we feel, even in our fight against corruption, we need to target the young people.
To see how young people that you consider very young and that you consider fully under your authority can eventually transform themselves to responsible citizens, which is very, very encouraging.
And for women who ventured into a previously male-dominated field, it was a time to celebrate them. These are women in construction. These women from Kiambu County say they have mastered the art of construction, which has enabled them to put food on the table.
For me, nimeipenda. Na huwa nawaambia hakuna kazi ya wanaume saa hii. Hakuna kazi mwanamke hawezi fanya na mwanaume hawezi fanya. So unaweza fanya kazi yoyote. Na wasichana waache kusema ati kazi ni ya wanaume, hapana.
What I can say today celebrating women ni kwamba usikae tu hapo, jaribu when you're still young, jaribu kila kitu, jaribu. Me, I was just trying.
One of the best ways that we are addressing these issues around HIV and GBV among girls is through implementation of economic empowerment among adolescents, these girls, especially the older ones.
Jen Siokau and Jen Kamau say using the mantra of DREAMS, which is an acronym for determined, resilient, empowered, AIDS-free, mentored and safe, has helped them focus in an industry previously considered a reserve for men. Alan Auko, Lunchtime News.
The Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Forestry has intensified campaigns to manage and control the spread of prosopis, popularly known as madenge weed. According to Cabinet Secretary in charge of Environment, Soipan Tuya, the weed has spread in 22 arid and semi-arid land counties, thus threatening lives of pastoral communities.
Speaking during a one-day mainstreaming prosopis workshop at Kenya Forest Research Institute headquarters in Muguga, Kiambu County, that brought together participants from counties of Baringo, Kajiado, Isiolo, Turkana and Taita Taveta, Environment CA Sophia Ntuya noted that the national government is planning to lift the ban on prosopis charcoal trade to minimize the spread of the weed.
Focusing on the prosopis species is so that we can turn the menace that the prosopis has been to Kenyans into an opportunity.
According to the director of Kenya Forest Research Institute, Dr. Joshua Chiboio, said KEFRI, with support of other developing partners, will develop scientific method and approaches for control and management of prosopis in the country.
The working with the Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Forestry has developed a strategy, or what's called prosopis, National Prosopis Strategy and Action Plans 2021-2030.
Stakeholders lamented that prosopis has spread to almost 2 million hectares in most affected 8 counties and is threatening 7 more other counties in the country. For Lunchtime News, I'm Abdulaziz Abeid.
To security concerns as the world marked International Women's Day Wednesday, women from pastoral communities have nothing to smile about owing to the rampant insecurity caused by cattle rustling. During raids, women and children bear the brunt due to their vulnerability, which sees them flee or lose their dependents who are husbands.
Arabal, Baringo County. Women who on such a day will be expected to join their fellow women in marking World International Women's Day are busy with other duties such as holding local meetings to come up with ways to end banditry. The move occasioned by incessant attacks by bandits with fear of abrupt attacks keeping them away from any form of celebration. According to Nelly Kipto, a banditry victim from Arabal, Baringo South, women have suffered following incessant attacks from bandits in the region, rendering them widows and impoverished.
Hati hao walipo wameattack area, wamama wanakuwa na changamoto sana kwa sababu unaweza wajiwa watoto, uwajiwe mali, uwajiwe kila kitu, mzee pengine ameenda, wewe umepaki na watoto. So ni kazi ngumu sana sababu unaweza enda kama uko na mimba unaenda mpaka unajifungua kwa barabara, huna daktari, huna dawa, so unaweza jifungua ukiendanga.
So I want to believe women can help us eradicate even the issue of banditry and cattle rustling, because if you know your child is in forest, it is still you who your child can really obey and listen to what you are saying. If you say no to what is going on at family level, I want to believe we will eradicate this menace.
They further want women involved in efforts geared towards the restoration of peace, since the bandits are children and husbands to them, and their role in search of peace should not be neglected.
The woes facing Lamu woman representative Monica Marubu following her remarks alleging ranch owners had hired a local community to instigate attacks in the area continue to deepen. In a new twist, the ranch owners have joined the local community in calling for an unconditional apology from her over the remarks, failure to which they are threatening to sue her for defamation.
Ranch owners in Lamu County have distanced themselves from claims made by the area woman representative Monica Marubu, alleging they were the financiers of terror attacks targeting certain communities and not the outlawed Al-Shabaab.
Walioko wanaua watu ni wa majangili wa hizi maranches. Sisi sio majangili, hatuna sifa hiyo. Na hatukuwahi kuwa majangili na hatutakuwa majangili.
The ranch owners have joined the local community in claiming her remarks border on incitement meant to create divisions among the communities that have coexisted peacefully for years in Lamu.
Tumesumbuliwa kama watu wa Ranch. Kila wakati kukitokea tukio, sisi ndo tunakuwa suspect, na watoto wetu wanaofanya kazi ndani ya Ranch wanatukuliwa hatua.
Ranch owners called on the government to take action against the women representative or they will move to court to sue her for defamation.
Atoke na ushahidi wake, apeleke kwa DCI, watu wachukulie hatua. Sio hivyo, sisi kama ranchers tutachukua hatua za kisheria na tutamfikisha mama Monica Marubu kotini.
Jare Elema, the chairman of Witu Livestock Cooperative Society Limited, said it was wrong for Marubu to say that it was the ranch owners who were killing people and not Al-Shabaab as portrayed. He said the government has many investigation units and should investigate the matter to unravel the truth of the matter.
Na tunaomba hii ujumbe iende kwa serikali. Serikali wafanye uchunguzi kwa kina. Kama sisi si majangili, serikali wahakikishe wamemchukulia hatua Monica Marubu.
Ranch owners now want the government to conduct investigations and bring the perpetrators to justice. Marubu's utterances were made during the president's visit to Lamu. She said that the killings witnessed in the recent past were conducted in a questionable manner, adding that the perpetrators knew their victims in person. For Lunchtime News, I am Teresa Mutai.
Thanks, Tess Mutai, for that report. Now, teachers' shortage and effects of drought are hampering learning in Kajiado County. Education stakeholders in Kajiado say more teachers need to be enrolled for junior high school education in the region. The few teachers in the area are allegedly forced to deal with swelling numbers of pupils transferred from remote areas to satellite towns owing to harsh climatic conditions in areas away from urban centers.
Are reportedly pushed out of classrooms by the effects of ravaging drought that forced them to source for alternative learning at centers close to urban areas or even miss out on learning.
They are at home.
This situation has prompted a section of education stakeholders in Kajiado to seek for recruitment of more tutors to address the surging number of pupils in satellite towns. During a stakeholders forum in Kajiado, the Teacher Service Commission Director Solomon Lesewa expressed the need to increase the number of teachers in junior secondary schools.
Upon completion of the posting of the recruited teachers, we have also embarked on deployment of teachers, that is verification of documents and deployment of teachers from primary to JSS who meet the required qualifications.
Kama wazazi mnahimizwa kuruhusu watoto waende shule kupitia structure ya serikali administration kuanzia nyumba 10 mpaka county commissioner, na sisi tutaenda kuhakikisha kwamba watoto wameenda shule.
Kenya National Union of Teachers County Secretary Eli Korinko, on his part, decried the law secondary transition, saying at least 10,000 learners who sat for the Kenya Certificate of Primary Education 2022 are yet to join Form 1, and other 2,000 grade 6 learners have failed to proceed to junior secondary school owing to effects of drought.
So you can imagine the rest of the classes, Form 1 to Form 2, Form 2 to Form 3, Grade 1, Grade 2, that have dropped due to this ravaging drought. So we are talking of a bigger margin, a bigger figure out of school.
Meanwhile, it was a sigh of relief for a 14-year-old Luciano Sipanto in Narok after the county's women representative, Rebecca Tonkei, settled her secondary school fees. Sipanto, who scored 363 marks in the national examination, was unable to continue with her education owing to lack of finances.
I hope that God will help me to achieve an A so that I can do that course.
Unajua policy ya serikali ni kwamba there should be 100% transition. So hakuna mtoto anastahili kubaki nyumbani kwa sababu hana school fees.
I come from natural location
Glad you're watching the Lunchtime News. We are taking a breather. When we return, we'll be telling you on a crackdown on counterfeit drugs in the county of Kiambu, and also we'll be having news making headlines in the world of business and sports. Stay with us.
What is that you know that we don't?
And before I answer that question, I have two questions for you guys.
Which are?
First question. Why do you attend this college?
Of course, to learn and graduate this.
Good. Now, how will you graduate when you don't pass the exam?
That is very impossible.
Very impossible.
So I think in that case, we have to go and get ready. Ladies?
And where do you think you're going?
Of course, to go and engage Lenny and Julia. Let us go, and he's going to put us makeup.
And who said you can leave now?
But Mwalimu, you said you will celebrate.
You have an exam to complete. Julia, come pick your exam paper.
Mr. Tisha, I have finished. Can you have my paper?
That was really fast, King Anjui.
And rewarded.
Operationalizing Kerugoya Level 5 Hospital.
A functioning school feeding program.
But how have the leaders performed so far? We bring you an honest assessment of the national and county governments.
One of the best ways of accelerating national development is through collaboration with county governments.
The Scorecard, coming soon on KBC Channel 1.
To get Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5 as your skiza tune, dial *811 *967 #.
Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not in your own understanding. In all your ways, submit to him, and he will make your path straight. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5 to 6.
To get Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5, dial *811 *967 #. *811 *967 #.
Thank you for staying with us. Welcome back. You're watching the Lunchtime News. Now, police in Kiambu County have managed to recover counterfeit drugs and alcohol worth over 1.6 million shillings. An 84-year-old man who is a suspected dealer was also arrested in the operation. In the operation conducted by a multi-agency team consisting of local administration, over 200 suspects were rounded off and have been arraigned in various courts in the county of Kiambu. Kiambu County Commander Parnimas Kioi said of the arrested suspects included 20 immigrants from various nationalities. Residents were urged to volunteer information to enhance the fight against the substance abuse in the area.
We are able to recover quite a number of drugs. That is 300 rolls of bangi, worth 150,000, 400 stems, worth 675,000, another 20 kilogram of bangi, worth 900,000, another 300 grams, worth 22,500 shillings. In total, 1,645,900 Kenya shillings. Mine is to tell members of public to frontier information to us. We are very ready to act, and I've said we have no sacred in the cows, and we are not going to spare anybody who is selling drugs, counterfeit beer, or any type of illicit drinks to members of public. You have seen very well. This is somebody whom we have arrested over 20 times. He has been taken to court in Ghost. He is just fined 20,000 shillings, and he comes, then he continues with this kind of business.
As the world marked Women's International Day Wednesday, Sheila Kayaro, Channel 1's journalist, was in Samburu County where she met Njerema Leleruk, aged 31, the mother of 7, who is also a CBC pupil at Loikas Primary School. Despite getting married at the tender age of 13, Leleruk is back in school to acquire an education. Take a look.
At Loikas Primary School in Samburu County, we meet Njelema Leleruk. She is 20 years older than most of her classmates. The 31-year-old mother of 7 believes she would have completed her 844 education, but things did not go as planned. Married for 18 years, Njelema Leleruk is back in class to fulfill her dream.
Naenda kuchunga samani. Wakati ya kuolewa unakuja kukaa kwa nyumbani, unaenda makaa na mapost. Unaona harika yangu ile umesoma umeenda mbele sana na mimi bado niko nyuma.
She is in her school uniform just like her classmates. The only thing that differentiates Njelemo from other pupils is her age. At break time, all learners get out to play.
Niko mwaka 31. Nimekuja shule Loikas Primary class 3. Nataka masomo.
Learning without play makes Njelemo a dull girl. She joins the rest. It will take 15 years of the new education system, but to a Samburu girl whose quest for education was cut short by child marriage, this doesn't bother her, as long as by the end of the day she will participate in nation building through employment.
Nataka kusoma mpaka nakuwa secretary.
Her teacher says she's a devoted student.
She's a mother who is willing to learn. She has motivated my class too much. She always asks questions. She always comes to school early. So I'm very happy.
She has to balance between school and fending for her family.
Unaamka saa 9 usiku. Unatengeneza chai na shapo kuanzia saa 3 mpaka saa 5 usiku. Mimi nalala saa 3. Saa 6, saa 7, saa 8. Unakuja naamka saa 9 unapika chai. Saa 10 unaenda kuzunguka chai town mpaka saa 12 unakuja nyumbani unakuja shule.
Though there is adult education provision in the country, Njelemo prefers to go through CBC curriculum so that she can get more knowledge. It was not easy to be admitted in other schools.
We went through a couple of schools
asking for a position for her, and most of the schools were hesitant because of her age, and also being that this is a patriarchal community, they were like, this is a married woman, how will she manage? They were hesitant to give her the opportunity because of the responsibility she has as a woman and as a wife, and the age was also a bit tricky. But when we came across one of the schools, that is Loikas Primary School, we met Mr. Barack Okoth and we requested him for an opportunity. He embraced that and he said, we will give this woman that opportunity and the chance, and if she's willing to come, we will be able to support her and get her books and a school bag, so long as she will be willing to come.
Njelemu joins the list of other older citizens like the late Kimani Maruge, who went back to school at the age of 84, and the late Priscilla Sitini Gogo at the age of 90, among others. Article 43 of the Kenya Constitution of 2010 on economic and social rights stipulates that every person has a right to education.
Njelemu is a 31-year-old mother who got married at 13 years old. She has decided to come back to school to continue with her education. She is encouraging other women in similar situation to come back to school and fulfill their dreams. Sheila Kayaroyogo reporting for KBC at Loikas Primary School in Samburu County.
Thank you, Sheila, for that report. Wajir County First Lady Rukia Abdinasir has challenged relevant authorities to fast-track cases of gender-based violence in the county. Speaking during the launch of a gender-based policy document which is set to address the vice and also set up a protection center in the region, the First Lady promised to ensure maximum support for women and girls to ensure they have access to justice, education and proper health services.
Hundreds of women leaders led by Wajir County First Lady Rukia Abdinasir flocked at the Grand Oasis Hotel in Wajir County. Speaking during the launch of a gender-based policy document, Wajir County First Lady Rukia Abdinasir challenged relevant authorities to fast-track cases of gender-based violence in the region.
I'm truly honored to be with you to launch Wajir Gender Policy Documents, which entails access to water for women, access to health, education, peace and security, and infrastructure, which are critical areas for women.
Abdinasir said the country is working on setting up the first gender-based violence center to accommodate GBV victims.
We must join hands to ensure maximum support to our women and girls with strategic initiative to ensure women are safe and our young girls access education.
Gender rights activists in the area welcome the move, saying it will go a long way in creating awareness as well as addressing social ills against girls and women in the region.
If you go to the gender desk at the police, every week we record a minimum of 2 cases. At least one is sexual and sexual-based violence.
The sentiment was echoed by the Wajir County Women Member of Parliament Fatuma Abdi, urging communities not to use an alternative dispute resolution mechanism for incidents of rape and defilement in the region.
I was actually going through the report from the OSPD and it's alarming. Being the county MP, my sister, the First Lady, it's not something we can do alone. We need to come together and fight this animal called rape.
According to the Wajir County Police Station Gender Desk, over 60% of the cases reported to the police are related to gender-based violence, including early marriage. In Isiolo, Deputy Governor's spouse Christine Lowassa has advised women to utilize the opportunities that have been availed to them by the government.
Pesa ya kina mama iko, pesa ya vijana iko, ni mipangilio tu, lakini kwa sasa kwa sababu bills zimepita za kuweza kugovern hiyo pesa, I'm sure ya kwamba itakuwa rolled down.
And in Laikipia County have embraced the use of digital platforms to market and sell their products locally and internationally. The county of government is supporting their initiative and pledged to support them through the provision of internet connectivity.
Speaking at Solio Settlement Scheme, the area governor Joshua Irungu said the county government will facilitate connectivity in all the wards to make sure more people can access the internet as the world shifts to online trade.
Na kwa hivyo tunaomba ya kwamba hiyo ni kitu kimoja kama serikali ya county tutaendelea na kuyafanya, na kwa sababu kupitia zile miradi tunataka kufanya ICT centers kwa kila kijiji na kwa kila wards, kupitia hizo hata akina mama watafaidika kufanya biashara kupitia the online au digital technology.
Igwamiti MCA Irene hailed the women for taking the initiative to market their goods, saying it is commendable that women at the grassroots were taking the initiative towards financial freedom. Mayanat community leader Esther Karuru said that women from pastoralist region of Laikipia North are slowly adapting to the new technology. They have used the platform to hold meetings and sell their beadwork.
Katika zile vikundi ya wamama unakuta wako na WhatsApp groups, na hapo wanauza shanga zao, wakitengeneza shanga zao wanatutumia, na sisi tunatumia wafadhili marafiki zetu. So teknolojia japo ni kiwango cha chini, lakini iko katika kijiji na inatusaidia sana.
Joan Junge for Lunchtime News.
All right, thank you for staying with us. Time for Channel 1 Business News. Stanbic Holdings made 9.1 billion shillings in 2022 full-year net profits, representing a 26% year-on-year growth, driven by double-digit growth in internet income. Loans and advances rose 27% to 236 billion shillings, which, on the other hand, saw a similar increase in the stock of gross non-performing loans to 28.45 billion shillings. The lender has recommended a dividend payout of 12 shillings and 60 cents per share.
But these are pretty impressive numbers when you compare across other sub-Saharan African countries. The fact that we've got Uganda at 6.4, Kenya, we're all between the 5 and the 6.5. That's remarkable resilience that we've shown in the economies.
Trend ecosystems, partnerships with various partners, whether it's fintechs you're looking for, MNOs or big technology companies. And that's what we continue to do. Solutions for SMEs, business clients, commercial clients for us. So that model of change is really what our press site for our businesses for the last 2 years, which will continue even this year, 2023.
Crop scientists are calling on the government to offer incentives to encourage transition to organic farming. They argue that support to organic farming would help eliminate the issue of soil degradation that has negatively affected yields.
It is important that other counties also come up with land from Murang'a County and also develop agroecological or organic farming policies that can support and can guide the agriculture sector in this country. It's very important to revive indigenous seeds because they are very good, and I said before, they are drought resistant and can do well anywhere in this country. So I would say that all crops are important and can grow organically depending on how you nurture them. And nurturing them means avoid use of synthetic fertilizers, heavy spraying, but also build the soil. When you poison the soil, you poison your body, because when you grow any crop that goes into your body, your system, then that means it has been poisoned. What means to your body, your system also gets poisoned.
Nigeria CBN has launched a regulatory framework for open banking. The move seeks to deepen innovation and increase the range of products available to customers in the financial service industry. Here are this and other news from across the continent.
Central Bank of Nigeria said the open banking framework allows banks and third-party exchanges to obtain customers' data. This, according to the industry regulator, will ensure financial inclusion and lead to the innovations that meet customers' demands. While open banking is meant to innovate the banking system in Nigeria, it will also expose customers to various risks, including cybercrime and data privacy breaches. Elsewhere, the Federation of Egyptian Banks confirmed that some of the false news being circulated regarding withdrawal commissions from banks' automated teller machines is completely baseless information. The Federation also confirmed in a statement that there are no withdrawal commissions when using the issuing bank's automated teller machine network, as it is a free service for customers of each bank. It pointed out that cash withdrawal commissions relate to credit cards only when used in cash withdrawals from ATMs. And finally, Morocco's National Tourism Office has announced a partnership with the International Tourism and Travel Group aiming to boost tourism activities in Morocco. The deal is expected to double tourist arrivals to Morocco with a growth rate of about 220%. Under the deal, Morocco National Tourism Office Group will conduct mutual projects that will double the number of tourists coming to Morocco from France and triple the number of tourists arriving in the North African country from Germany, Austria, Switzerland, and Belgium.
All right, Kenyan companies will be able to build their own regional data centers that can be custom-made to suit local businesses. Toshiba's regional vice president says market players could tap into the high-demand industry, with almost 62% of businesses in the region looking to adopt cloud storage data centers that promise safety. The project by Japanese conglomerate Toshiba and IT company Muchuma will also ensure solution providers have to scale up storage capacity depending on demand. The concept is piloting in Kenya, which has a market potential of approximately $2 billion in the next 3 to 4 years.
People are generating a lot of data, either personal or for business reasons. And businesses are not just storing data, they are making intelligent business decisions to business analytics and trying to bring about solutions and helping customers to use their products and services. We're going to train the channel partners, the system integrators, how to use and how to integrate different technologies to build your data center projects. Where businesses are early adopters of these technologies, we are looking at a market potential of more than $2 billion.
All right, in sports, youth talented football players in the villages across Kenya will benefit from the UltraBet program, which aims at supporting junior sports players from the grassroots. The program, which has already been rolled out, will be sponsoring talented sports children from the grassroots across all villages in Kenya.
Children from across the country who are talented in sports, especially football, will benefit from the UltraBet development program that seeks to identify talented children and supporting them in their journey to making it in the world of sports.
In the next few weeks, we shall be out there. We've identified some we shall be sponsoring with boots. Some we shall be sponsoring with jerseys. Some we shall be sponsoring with facilities themselves. Some we shall also be doing some of the pitches they play. Those are our targets.
The program will also see rehabilitation of sports facilities in the villages and classrooms in the schools identified to have a big number of talented players. This falls in line with the Ministry of Sports agenda of developing talents and rehabilitation of facilities as they seek to hand in a bid to host the Africa Cup of Nations in less than 10 years.
German soccer giants Bayern Munich qualified for the quarterfinals of this year's European Champions League after beating Paris Saint-Germain PSG 3-0 on goals aggregate. Meanwhile, English Premier League side Tottenham Hotspur were knocked out after their barren draw with AC Milan.
In another match, AC Milan also qualified after their barren draw with Tottenham Hotspurs gave them a 1-0 aggregate win. Meanwhile, 8 Europa League last 16 matches are on card tonight. Manchester United will welcome Real Betis. Arsenal will play Sporting Lisbon. Sevilla will welcome Fenerbahce. Roma will entertain Real Sociedad. Shakhtar Donetsk will face Feyenoord. Juventus will play Freiburg. Union Berlin will welcome Union Saint-Gilloise, while Bayer Leverkusen will host Ferencvaros.
All right, and on that note, we have come to the end of Channel 1 Lunchtime News. On our social media platforms, we had asked you, who is the best forward in the Premier League right now? And mixed reactions here. Uba is saying the best on the top of the table. Peter Aliseche, you're saying Rashford. Stephen Oliebo, you're saying you love Chelsea and blue is the only color you know. And finally, Peter Mungai, you're saying Haaland. Thank you so much for your feedback on our social media platforms. For more details on Just Add News and many more, do log on to www.kbc.co.ke. My name is Irene Muchuma. My co-uncle sign language interpretation is Byron Abuli. On behalf of the entire team, thank you for your time.